Okay, today year one, we're going to be looking at Scratch Junior. So our learning intention is I can code using blocks, and our success criteria is 3 things today. So my blocks are connected in order to code properly. I have thought about the movement of my character needs before making the code, and I have adjusted the code to match my thinking each time I trial the code. So I'm really looking for you to think about your codes, make the code, so put them in order, and then trial them and keep following that sequence. All right, so you can see my iPad on the screen. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be developing our skills on Scratch Junior. So remember, Scratch Junior is in the coding folder with the cat. So you're going to go into there. You're going to open it up. And when you open it up, it's going to open up all the other ones that have been on the iPad. You press the plus. And what you're going to do today is you're going to create a setting, but your setting is going to animate. So you're going to get rid of the cat by long pressing and then pressing on the cross. Then if you go up to the top of your screen, up here, you can see that there is a picture. You're going to click on the blank one, and then you're going to click on the paintbrush. When you click on the paintbrush, you're looking for this symbol here, and that means you can actually draw. So you're going to draw just a brief background, and you're going to choose whether it's going to be a forest or a garden. So they're your 2 settings. So you need to choose one of them, not both, just one. So you're going to think about that. So your basic things might be looking and thinking about the sky. So you might shade in some of that in blue. And then you might decide to put some down the bottom for green for the grass. Now remember, I said this is just basic because you can't animate your background. That means you can't make your background move. So you're going to press the tick, and that's going to go as your set. Okay? On the left-hand side here, where there is a plus, you are going to be adding in features for your setting. So it does say character at the top, but it's not a character that you're adding because we're doing a setting, so there should be no characters in there. There should only be things in your setting. So if I'm designing a forest, then I would be thinking about things in the forest. So what sorts of things are in the forest? Let me think. Trees. So I'm going to design a tree. I'm going to draw that on my iPad, which you can see on my screen at the moment. And I'm just going to quickly color that in, and I'm going to put it into my background. So you can see I can move that around, which means I can actually make that move on my coding. So I'm going to put in my green flag, because remember, all of our codes need to start with a green flag. And I'm going to think about what movement a tree is actually going to do. So if we think about trees in real life, what do they do? So usually, if it's windy, they'll sway back and forth. So I'm going to put some codes in there that allows them to do that. Now I'm going to change the number to 10 for both of those. That means it's going to do it 10 times. So you can see that my tree is moving. I'm also going to think about what else I could put in there. So I might put some leaves. So I'm going to place the leaf on top of the tree. And I'm going to think about what the leaf does also in real life. So leaves, when it's windy, are also going to blow back and forth. And you can see that I'm making a pattern with my codes to check that they are correct. I'm going to press the green flag, and you can see that it is moving. Now, one of my codes doesn't seem to be working properly because I don't actually want my tree to keep moving if the leaf is going to be on there. That would be silly. So I'm going to tap back on the tree, and I'm going to look at my code again and think, what am I going to do with that code? Because it's not working at the moment. So I'm going to drag the codes back up, and maybe instead of my tree moving, maybe I'm going to get my tree to grow. So I'm going to put the person out twice. And I'm going to press the green flag and check and see if it works. Wow. So now my tree has grown in size, and I also have a leaf. that is moving in the wind. So you need to think about all the things that you might have in your setting. So remember, all of your setting is going to be either a forest or a garden. So you need to think about the things that are in those actual settings. So you might add a sun that moves. You might add some clouds. You might have some apples falling from your tree that animate. You might decide that it's a vegetable garden and you might put some different vegetables into the ground, and then the vegetable actually shows that it's growing by moving up the screen. And then when you press the green flag, it's going to grow up out of the soil. So that is what I want you to do today, year 1. So please make sure you're doing that on your iPad. Now, for you to be successful, I will need to see that you're thinking about your codes, you're making your codes and you're putting them in order, and you're checking and trialing them by pressing the green flag. Now, if I'm creating a setting, remember, I wouldn't see any characters in there. So I don't want to see any characters in your settings today. All right, I hope you have a good session today, and I will see you next week.